G'day, everybody. I'm actually on time for a change. Woohoo, it's me. Anyway, welcome to Gina. Welcome to Aussie. Thank you for being here, and whoever else happens to come in as well. Thank you for being here today. Today's live is going to be a trip down memory lane, not for everybody because it happened so many years ago. It happened in 1966. The three Beaumont children went missing from down at Glenelg Beach. And I'm just going to talk a little bit about that, talk a little bit about what I think, and then I'm going to I'll open up the panel if anyone wishes to join me. Please feel free to if you wish to. If you see the link in the chat, please feel free to click on it and then pop up and join me on panel and give me what you think is the best theory that you have. Because today is going to be all about, like I said, just discussing this. I have been meaning to get down to Glenelg to actually do this live, but I haven't had the opportunity to. And with my eyes the way they are these days, I don't want to risk it. So, yeah, I'm just going to be talking through here, and then one day, when in the foreseeable future, when I can get my mum and my brother to come with me, because my mum grew up down at Glenelg, okay, and she can point out what used to be where, which is what it is now, and all that kind of crap. So I want to be able to. Hi, Iris. Good to see you, sweetheart. I want to be able to include my mum in this documentary because my mum was my mum's going to kick my ass for saying this. My mum was born in 1955 and this tragedy happened in 1966. So she would have a fair little bit of info in regards to what I need to ask. But anywho, uh, Jane, Grant, and Anna, three Beaumont children from down at Glenelg, excuse me, wanted to go down to the beach of Australia Day. So today's the day that commemorates their disappearance. Australia Day in 1966. They got the bus down there, which was the bus stop from memory was only about not even a 10-minute walk from their house. So it was fine. Nancy, which was the children's mum, she was very hesitant about letting them go because, she couldn't go with them. Hey, Aussie, good to see. I'm just so glad they've got people in here. This is so cool. Anyway, they went and called the bus down there, and the mum said, just make sure you're back by, I think she said by lunchtime. Now, when I was growing up, lunchtime could mean anywhere from, say, midday right through to, like, say, 3 o'clock in the afternoon. When growing up, we never had specific times when lunch was going to be able to be made or when dinner was served. We didn't have specific times. So I'm pretty sure that back in the 60s, though, that they actually had, like, breakfast was served at 7 a.m. or something. Like, fuck that. But 7 a.m. and then lunch would be at, say, 12:30, and then dinner would be about, say, 6 o'clock. So I'm just guessing that. I don't know that for an absolute fact, but we're just going to go with that. So say they had to be home by 12. They went down in the morning because it was going to be a stinking hot day. Now, the kids wanted to ride their bikes down there, but Nancy saw it as because if they rode their bikes, it would have been too hot and nah. Now, the thing is, though, back in the 60s in Australia, we paid with like shillings and pennies and all that kind of crap. Now, Nancy claimed up until the day she died, basically, that she did not give them a £1 note. Now, remember that would be very important a little bit later on in the story. Now, what happened is the fact that they called the bus down there. They were given enough money to get something to drink, and I think enough money to get food to bring back and have with Nancy. Now, Nancy didn't go to the beach with them because there's two different stories. One, three different stories. One, she had a massive migraine and she just wanted to lie down. Two, she had housework to get done before Jim, which was the kid's parent. The kid's parent. Yeah, well, the kid's other parent, the dad, Jim Beaumont. She had to get housework done. And then there was the third story that came out that she wanted to go see a friend of hers. She was going to go see a friend of hers. So it was very, very, for me personally, it was very hard to keep track of which was the actual reason she didn't go with her kids. Was it because she had a migraine? Was it because she had housework to do? Or was it because she was going to go see a friend? I was born in 1982, guys. So this was like long after, long after. I was born, I should say, long after this tragedy happened. So I can't actually predict which one it was. But anywho, so they called the bus down there. The postie claims that he saw them and in the afternoon, but then there's been stories that he changed his story and he actually saw them in the morning. Hey, Kerry, how you doing, sweetheart? But yeah, so that happened. Anyway, they were seen throughout the day at the beach. You know, they were seen at Collie Reserve playing under a sprinkler and mixing with an older gentleman who was in speedos. Now, for me, for one, I'm not a fan. For those who don't know what a speedo is, it's like an underwear brief, but it's like bathers for men. So we call it over here. We could call it a speedo, budgie smuggler. Take your pick. But I think they're disgusting either way. Just my opinion. Anyway, so then what happened is that they were seen, and then they were seen getting her, like Jane, who was the older one. Now, I'm sorry, I don't remember how. I think she was 9, and apparently she was very, very responsible. You know, she was like a mother thing. Like she used to say to Grant, who was 4, I believe. And if I'm getting the ages wrong, someone please correct me. She would get very, very angry at Grant if he would go into the water at the beach past his belly button. She would say to Grant, "If you go past your belly button, I'll be very cross." And that's one of her friends who have actually said that in a few documentaries that I've seen. She would be like a mothery, excuse me, like a mother kind of thing to her brother and sister. Anyway, so Jane was just the older one. She was seen getting help, getting dressed. Now, for the people who saw that, they thought that was very strange with this grown man who was not the kid's father. Okay. And anyway, so they believed that, you know, it was weird that it looked quite possible that Jane was able to dress herself, but this grown man was helping her get dressed. So they thought that was weird. Anyway, they followed the kids over to the change rooms where this guy went in there and he changed. Prior to that, he had gone up to an elderly couple and saying, "Have you seen anyone mixing with our stuff? Because we've had money going missing." Now, for a moment in time, keep this in mind. There's 3 children. They're more or less stranded down at Glenelg, and their money's gone missing. But this guy is going to say, I'll drive you home. This particular person who drove them home, I think, was connected to the family in some way, like he had been there to visit. Now, this person was Harry Phibbs, who was a very, very well off man for those days. Um, you know, he would offer to drive. Hey, Julie, how you doing? He would offer to drive them home. So that's why I think that Jane, Anna, and Grant were very comfortable around him because Harry. Okay, now here's the thing. Now I don't know if this is accurate, so you're going to forgive me if I'm wrong. Jim Beaumont was a traveling fabrics salesperson. Whether it was for cottons, I don't know. But Harry Phibbs is reported to have a fetish for satin, like silk. So whether that Jim had anything to do with that, I don't know. Thank you for writing in capitals, Julie. I appreciate it, hon. I try and acknowledge everybody as they're coming in and they say something. So if you're not actually saying anything in chat and you are in here, hello, 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 hello. Anyway, so what happened is that was really weird that the fact that the kids, Jane, Anna, and Grant, was seen jumping around this guy, jumping over him, and all that sort of stuff, and being quite content with him. Now, earlier that morning, Anna has reported saying Jane has a girlfriend. Jane has a girlfriend, boyfriend. Sorry. Now, was this grown man the person who zeroed in on Jane. We never know because Nancy just thought it was her sister, like Anna picking on Jane, and didn't think much of it, and basically just went, like how when you try to shoo away a fly kind of thing, she just flipped it off like it was no big deal. Anyway, fast forward, they're at the beach, they're at Collie Reserve. Like I said, when I do my next documentary live, I'll make sure that thank you, Julie. What will happen is I'll do a documentary and show parts of Glenelg where I've talked about today. And I'm hoping I can arrange to do that with my mum and my brother, so that I can point out parts. And my mum, if she's comfortable with it, she can be on camera pointing out parts too, and all that sort of stuff. So fingers crossed it goes well. Yeah, well, I am young. I'm 41, Julie. I'm young, dumb, and full of wisdom. Oh, come on, guys. Hit the thumbs up. Thumbs up. Donate to PayPal. Look at my Amazon wish list. Do it all. But don't look at my Amazon wish list if it's going to take you away from here. But please feel free to donate because I really do need the help. So thank you if you do donate. Now, anyway, what seems to happen is the fact that these kids followed this grown man down to the toilets while he went inside and changed, and then they walked off all together. Hey, Mac, how you doing, sweetheart? They all walked off down Jetty Road. Now, Jane, being the oldest one, she went into, I think it was called Wenzel's Bakery. Correct me if I'm wrong, anyone. I would appreciate it. And she ordered like a pasty, a pie, and all that sort of stuff. Now, the thing is, though, the kids had been in there prior and they had never ordered a pie. People are saying that the pie was for Grant because Grant didn't like the pasties. If that's the case, how come? Sorry, excuse me for one sec, guys. Anyway, as I was saying, they went in there and they've been in, like I said, the Beaumont children were known at this particular bakery. Now the thing is, and whoever just sent me that message, I do appreciate that. Thank you very much, but I can't reply because I'm currently live, so I do apologise for that. Anyway, so then what happened is that, like I said, they say after all these years, they say, oh, but the pie was for Grant, the little baby, like the little boy of the group. Grant was named after his dad, by the way, and his dad got called Jim. I don't know how you get Grant from Jim from Grant, but we'll play along. And so what happened is that he'd been in there countless times. Not once in those times previously had Grant requested a pie. And that's why when Jane goes, oh, and a pie for the man. Now, she didn't say for the little man, you know what I mean? She said for the man. And the thing is, though, now keep in mind, if you remember what I said in the beginning, Nancy Beaumont handed over coins to Jane to pay for the bus fare, to pay for something to eat and drink because it was going to be a hot day and all that sort of stuff. All right. Now, I find that very strange because when Jane handed over money, she handed over a crisp £1 note. Now, Harry Phibbs was known to hand out £1 notes to people that he, like children and stuff, when they used to help him. Like there were these two boys who, prior to the tragedy of the Beaumont disappearance, they were actually paid with I think it was four crisp £1 notes to dig a hole in the back of Harry Phibbs's factory at Castelloyd's. So there's a connection. If there's a connection there, there's that connection. But if there's not, like I'm sure there would have been a lot of people back in the 60s that had £1 notes, but at the same time, who knows? But Harry Phibbs was known to pay for people to do jobs for him. He was known to pay with crisp £1 notes. And that, and at the bakery, after that, they were never seen again. Now, the postie claims that he saw them around 2:00 and they were laughing. But as I said earlier, he retracted that statement and has since said, oh, it must have been in the morning that I saw them. Now, Australia Day here in Australia is, as far as I'm aware, and always has been, it's known to be a public holiday. Now, the postie did it, he said he saw them on his route. Now, if anyone's able to tell me, did posties actually work on public holidays back in the 60s? I don't think they did. So, how was he able to see them if he was en route when it was a public holiday and he wouldn't have, his services for delivering mail wouldn't have been needed because it was a public holiday? Anyway, over the years, unfortunately, nothing else has come to light about the missing Beaumont children. Jim and Nancy Beaumont divorced about 5 or so years later. I think it was 5 or 10 years. We'll just say within 10 years of the Beaumont kids going missing, Jane, Anna, and Grant going missing. Nancy and Jim decided to separate. They still stayed close. They were still good friends, and okay, Mac, if you want to come up and say that, you're welcome to. You're welcome to come up and talk, and that goes for anybody who has an opinion about this case. I'm not just going to have it be my opinion. If anyone wants to join me and talk about this case with their opinions, please. Yeah, I know you meant Mac, but everyone's welcome to come up and talk about it. It's completely fine. But like I said, the thing I find most strange about this case, though, is that they thought that the kids had drowned. They drowned it, or whatever you call it. They had drowned. Now, the thing that I find most sus about that, though, is that nothing, and I mean absolutely fucking nothing, of Jane, Anna, and Grant was ever found. Nothing. Not even so much as a shoe. I did say in a previous live that I said not even so much as a hair tie, but you've got to keep in mind that all of the kids, including Jane and Anna, who were both girls, had short hair. So I mentioned not even so much as a hair tie, but then I was looking at photos and stuff, and I'm like, got that wrong. They wouldn't have been needing hair ties anyway because of the fact that their hair was so short. But when I say nothing, like Jane Beaumont was reading a book called Little Women. I don't remember the author, but she was reading the original apparently, or whatever. And that book was never found. Not even so much as a page from the book was found anywhere where they would have been seen. So that's odd. Jim Beaumont. Now, you got to remember, guys, back in 1966, mobile phones were nowhere near as popular or not even around back then. And even if they were nowhere near as popular as they are now. Like every time you think about it, okay, the next time all of you are out at your local supermarket, local shops, or shopping centre, I should say, take a look around and actually look around and see how many people actually have mobile phones. We'll take away all those mobile phones, and that's what the 60s were like. No one had a mobile phone. But anyway, Jim was on his way to the infamous Snowtown. That was before it was known as the bodies in the barrels case, obviously. He was on his way there, but apparently halfway there, his job got cancelled. Now, here's the thing I don't get, and I don't get this for many reasons. First of all, how was Jim able to be notified that his job had been cancelled? Because he's later heard that saying that he was halfway to Slowtown and his job got cancelled, so he turned around and came home. Now, the thing I find very strange is the fact that everybody that lived in well, not everybody, but almost everybody, like the neighbours and all that, and the so-called friend that Nancy was going to go see that day, if that's where she was going to go. How come that when Jim pulled up, Nancy rushes out and goes, "Oh, Jim, the kids aren't home." And Jim races off to go and try and look for them. Now, I'm just going by what I've seen when they've done reenactments. How come Jim didn't say, "Well, what are the kids wearing?" We didn't see him ask that question. So if he did ask that question, you'd think he would ask Nancy those kinds of questions. Like, what are they wearing? What do they have with them? What's something that will stand out? Stuff like that. And the thing is, though, why did he leave Nancy behind? Now, if Nancy was able to ride her bike to go to her friend's house that day if that's where she was going. Now, you got to remember this. There's so many different stories that have come out of Jim and Nancy's mouth over the years. They could have stopped off and gone, "Oh, hey, Kelly, can you go to our place and wait there just in case the kids come home because we're going down to the beach?" Because Nancy would have known what the kids were wearing. Nancy would have known what the kids had on them, all that sort of shit. But that didn't happen. Jim left and went to go look for the kids on his own. Now, Jim has reported to have said that if you wish to trace your mind back, he was saying stuff like about how there was a part of the beach he used to go to and he used to be able to park his car there. He could see the kids, but the kids couldn't see him. Now, I find that, okay, I can say this now because Jim and Nancy have both passed away. I personally find the fact he didn't take Nancy with him to go look for the kids, and 2, he didn't ask what the kids were wearing or anything like that, or is there anything distinct that will stand out about the kids? Obviously, you know your kids when you see them. I don't have kids, so I can honestly say when I look at my kids, I don't see anything because I don't have any. Yeah, I'm not funny, am I? Anyway, he didn't ask any of those questions. Now, I find that very, very, very strange. Like I said, I'll keep saying it. That how was he able to know what part of the beach to go to look for him? You know what I mean? Like Glenelg here in Adelaide, if you ever come here, if you ever want to, that is, Glenelg is a very large beach. It's like a continuous beach, goes to Glenelg, Semaphore, Henley, all of those beaches. From memory, I don't know this for a fact, I think they're all like connected. So how would he know which part of, like Glenelg's a fairly big beach, how would he know which part to go to? I, for one, wouldn't want to be, especially in hot weather, I wouldn't want to be there driving up and down a fucking beachfront trying to figure out where my kids are, having no idea what they're wearing, having no idea if they have anything that would stand out that would actually make you think, oh, there they are, because there's the bag that Nancy said that the kids will be having. Now, like I said, I don't know for a fact, but I do believe that Jim was a traveling fabrics salesperson. So he could have been friends with Harry Phibbs. I'm not saying he was, but I'm just saying he could have been. Now, I don't know, because some people have corrected me over the years since I've been discussing the beaumonts here and there. A lot of people have said, oh, but no, he delivered like towels and blankets and stuff like that to hotels. I don't actually know if there's any fact behind that or with what I was saying before about him being a fabric salesperson, because Harry Phibbs liked the feel of satin, silk, whatever you want to call it. Yes, this case has actually, like, it upsets my mum because, you know, it was pretty much around the corner from where she grew up, this happened. And as I said before, my mum grew up in Glenelg, so, you know, it was pretty fucking scary. But it was the day, as they say, the day Australia lost its innocence. But I think it happened long before that. And it continues to happen. But like I said, if oh, what the hell, hang on, sorry guys, I just got it's from Timu. Congrats, you've what? Oh yeah, whatever. No, not interested. I love Timu, don't get me wrong, but anyway, I would like to hear what you have to say. So if there's anyone up here, anyone, or there's 8 of you in here, if there's anyone that would like to join me on panel, oh, okay, no worries, Matt. But if there is anybody who wants to join me on panel and discuss what their thoughts are, please feel free to. With Max saying about Bevan Spencer von Item, what I find interesting about that, in regards to her comment, is that there was people lining up along the beachfront before they went and searched, and there was a person that people have said over the years resembles Bevan Spencer von Item, and Spencer, I'll just call him Spencer. He is how to put it? He's a child killer. That's the best way I can put it, without actually going into too much detail about him. But yeah, he was not a very good person with what he used to do. So, yes. But no, this is one case that will continue to stump me. And I'll, like I said, in the next few weeks or so, if I could get my mum and brother to come with me, I'll go down to Glenelg and I'll actually do maybe a pre-recorded live and actually point out parts of Glenelg, point out. The thing is that I can point out the Beaumont home, but because it's now surrounded by a fence, because I'm guaranteeing that when they didn't have the fence around there, a lot of people would go past like they do with the Watts house. You know, they're going to go past and gawk at it like, oh, that's the Beaumont home. Like, yeah, but I just think it's very fucking sad that after all these years, now remember this case happened in 1966. Okay, so to know that there's been nothing at all in this case that's actually led to close to, well, it's too late now. The person who probably committed this crime is probably 6 foot under or up the chimney or down the road or down the stream. But the thing is, though, it's just really sad that Nancy and Jim went to their graves never knowing what happened. Well, I believe Jim knew what happened to his kids. All right. And I'm probably going to cop a lot of slack for that. But like I said, you just got to look at all the common things that we've seen over the years, okay? Throughout interviews, it's funny how to this day people talk about how John Ramsey showed no affection towards Patsy when they did press interviews and their daughter had been killed, right? But here's the thing that you've got to fast forward and step over the plank and come into Australia and look at it as this, how did Jim Beaumont act when they were doing interviews, when he was in interviews with Nancy? Did he show her any kind of affection? No. Did he show any kind of compassion? No. Did he show any kind of emotion? As much as it sounds bad, no. Because back in the 60s, you didn't show emotion apparently that much. Well, men didn't anyway. But then you've got to look at it as that he didn't show any affection to her. So, and he had 3 kids missing. Yes, and you think that John Ramsey would show more emotion because, you know, his daughter had been killed. But at the same time, Jim's showing no emotional support towards Nancy. And 3 of their kids are fucking missing and none of their property has been located. So you got to take that into account. Then you got to take into account that Jim was halfway to Snowtown and then was told that the job that he was going to had been cancelled. So he turned around and came home. Okay, you got to look at that side of the fucking penny. Then you got to look at it as that when he got home, Jim didn't ask Nancy what the kids were wearing before he disappeared. There's that. Then you got to ask yourself, why is it that Jim never took Nancy and he went away for a bit, as in went to go look for him, and then he came back, then he got Nancy. But why didn't he take Nancy with him to start with? Very, 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 very strange. I will say this, I've said it before, but I'll say it again a bit slower. If you wish to donate to me today, please do, because I desperately need to get some things into the house and I need to get some food badly. I had a donation yesterday and stuff like that, and that helped for yesterday, but I need help today, please. If you can, great. If you can't, that's fine. Don't feel bad if you can't. But like I said, I'll just yeah. Oh, hey, Kitty Witty. The thing is, though, is that if he wanted somebody home, how come they didn't just go to the? Because, like I said, there were 3 different reasons as to why Nancy didn't go down to the beach with the kids. There was the reason that she had housework, she was going to go visit a friend, or she had a migraine. I don't know which one is actually the truth. It's not bad, but it's too hot still in my unit. I want to turn on my fan, but then you won't be able to hear me properly, so I'm not doing that. But once the live finishes, my fan's going definitely back on. It's nice and cool outside, but it's like in my unit, it feels really like Yuck. But like I said, if Nancy was going to a friend's house, why didn't they? And she could have ridden her bike over to this friend's house, right? So that's how close they were, sort of thing. Now you got to ask yourself, why is it that Nancy and Jim could have got in the car together, gone past that person's house if that's what she was doing that day, or she could have asked one of the neighbors, "Hey, Mr. and Mr. Smith, Mrs. and Mrs. Smith, or whatever, can you please keep an eye out for the kids? If they come home, can you keep them in the house and we'll be back soon?" Because they haven't come home on the whatever bus they were meant to. The 1 o'clock bus, they're not home. We're getting really worried. But if you see them come home, can you keep them in your house until we get back? That is something they could have done. But Jim left without Nancy when he went to go look for him. And like I said, I'm going by reenactments that they've done on countless crime shows here in Australia. Jim never asked. All Nancy had to do was rush out and goes, Jim, the kids aren't home yet. Uh-huh. But you see, the thing is, it would have made more sense to do in the reenactment of Jim saying, okay, now, what were they wearing? You know what I mean? It would have made more sense if they actually showed that, because then Jim would have looked like he actually gave a fuck. He probably did give a shit about his kids. I'm not saying he didn't, but I just find it odd. But, time will tell when, time will tell, but it's too late now. Everybody who could possibly be connected to this case has now since probably passed away, or is in early stages of dementia. You never know. Anyway, guys, if no one wants to come up and join me on panel, I am actually going to cut this short because I need to go and try. Hang on, what's this? What were they? Because why am I saying what were they wearing? Is because at the end of the day, there could have been something that, say, Jane could have been wearing, say, something that would have stood out. You know what I mean? That would have actually made it easier for Jim to spot them. Because at the end of the day, not everybody has different swimsuits and all that sort of shit. But you think about it though, if you're going out and about and you lose one of your kids when they were younger and stuff like that, you always get the police would ask you, well, okay, well, what were they wearing? Because there might be something distinct that they're wearing that might actually help them recognize them to say that's them. You know what I mean? So, but that's just how I personally see it. As though, like I said, everything that I've said today is my own personal opinion. But I personally would have been asking what were they wearing, because if in case, like, say, Jane or Anna or either kid, including Grant, had, say, fluoro hats, for an example, that would have been something that potentially could have been something that stood out for Jim to be able to notice them when he was driving past or something like that. Or, Jane could have had a pink one, Grant could have had green, and Jane pink, Anna orange, and Jim green, the little Grant. And then if he saw those, say, three color schemes together, then that would have grabbed his attention. Well, if the father's going to go looking for him, Kitty, what's going to happen is he needs to be able to find something that's going to grab his attention. You know what I mean? He doesn't want to have to look at every child that he sees just in case. You know what I mean? But personally, if I was a parent and my kids went missing, I would actually be asking who was the last one seen them. I'll be asking them what they're wearing, because then I know what to look out for. But again, that's just my opinion. My opinion, unless I have someone up here to debate with me, you only get to hear mine, unfortunately. But no, I need to go, guys, because like I said, my throat's not giving me the best feeling today. And I might be back later tonight to do a part 2 of this. I might not. But if you do have an opinion, please feel free to voice it. All I ask is that you don't become abusive or a fucking asshole in the comment section or anything like that, because at the end of the day, life is short, and whatever happens on my lives, I would rather know that I've done a good job. Well, obviously, you got to take the good, the bad, the ugly. That's completely fine. But there's a way to be ugly when you're going to be disrespectful to someone. Anyway, guys, just know that my updated wish list is on Amazon, and it is what do you call it? Is also the link for that is in my description. So please feel free to check it out. If you can honestly think of something that would be more cost effective, and you see, say for example, I have on there, I have this automatic mixer thingy. If you see that there and you think, but you've seen it somewhere cheaper, please feel free to send the money through PayPal and go and send me the link if you can as well. Because then that way, if I can get those things that are on my wish list somewhere much cheaper, then hey, presto, I'm doing it. But if you wish to just donate, then donate. But if you don't want to do either one of those things, because for whatever reason, because it's none of my business why you don't want to do it, that's completely fine. But I have to go, guys. I'm sorry. My throat's giving me hell. And I need to go and try and find something that I can eat. Because I am starving. Don't want to really fucking cook. I have to. Because, well, I have to try at least. But all of you take care of yourselves. I hope you enjoyed today's live. I'm sorry it wasn't a very long one. But I just, like I said, I'm going to be doing, like, hopefully the next couple of months or so. I've been saying this for ages, but I do want to try and get down to Glenelg and point out little areas of stuff where, where the beaumonts and stuff and all that kind of crap. But feel free to do more research, guys, on the Beaumont children. There's a lot of documentaries about it on YouTube. There are books out there by amazing authors and stuff, so if you want to read them. And then if you find that you are confident and want to, you can come up and join me when I go live about the Beaumont children again, which I probably will. But we'll see how we go. Just right now, I haven't got much more to add. I should have done more research on this. It's just that this date, the 26th of January 2024, has slowly creeped up on me. And you might, I'm not sure if I still got them on there, but you might see that I have, I don't know if I moved them or they're still on that list, I don't know. But on my on my wish list, I have audio books of some of the Beaumont children books that have been written. And if you can help me get those or whatever, then I could do a more in-depth on the Beaumont children. It's just very, very hard for me to be able to read anything these days. So, yes, it was 59 years ago today that the Beaumont children went missing from Glenelg Beach in South Australia. And this is why I'm saying, like, you got to, when I was saying about how Jim should have asked what they were wearing or something like that, it's not a matter of like every kid's going to have the same bag or the same towels or the same whatever. The reason I know, right, Kitty? Long before, 18 years before I was born. More than that, because I'm old. I just think that Jim should have asked what the kids were wearing, because then, like I said, it would have been easier to point out and stuff and notice them and stuff, because who knows? As much as it might sound stupid, Jim, as he was driving past, could have easily passed his children. He wouldn't know. Who knows? No one knows. Was Jim involved? No one knows. But like I said, it's amazing how in this day and age you look at how when it's both parents in front of the camera. Oh God, I can't think of it. Sorry, guys. When you see parents these days in front of cameras and they're talking about how their children are missing or their children are being killed and they want answers and all that sort of shit, you watch their body languages now, and they're ripped apart. Like I said, I still believe that Patsy Ramsey had something to do with John Bonet going missing and being killed. I do believe that Patsy had and Jim, Patsy and John and Burke most probably had something to do with it. But you see, the thing that makes me confused though is that when Patsy and John showed no emotional connection or physical support like holding each other's hand or anything like that, the thing that confuses me though is that they were ripped to shreds because they showed no compass for supporting each other, right? But back in 66, when you look at the videos of Jim and Nancy now, Jim at one point is standing away from Nancy. They're sitting next to each other, and Jim's got his arms crossed over his chest like he's being defensive and all that sort of stuff. So, and all that sort of shit, it just makes me think, did they both have something to do with their children going missing, and that's why nothing of theirs was ever found? I don't know. Was Jim's car ever searched? I don't believe that it was. And plus the children's DNA would have been in the car anyway because the children were in Jim's car the day before. So, and plus DNA, as far as I know, wasn't even a thing. DNA's always been a thing, but it wasn't something they used to try and solve crimes back in the 60s. So, but I just see it as it's very, 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 very sad, like I said, that not a single item of the kids was ever found. Apart from this one time, this person went to the house of, what was his name? I'm sorry, I said his name earlier. Harry Phibbs's house. He went to the house of Harry Phibbs's wife or ex-wife, and he went down into the basement, and there was a white clutch purse sitting on the shelf downstairs. And when he questioned her about it, she was hurrying him. By then, she goes, "Okay, well, this is over," and she basically hurried him out of the house because she goes, "Oh, I picked up that from a second-hand shop." And all this sort of stuff. And he looks at it and he goes, in interviews he's done since then, he has said that I honestly regret the day I didn't just pick it up and look in it. But you'd think Jane was seen with a white clutch purse if they made more of made more of an issue out of it. Even if she was to find that at a second-hand shop, you'd think that it's a white clutch purse. How popular were they in the 60s? I wasn't around in the 60s, so I don't know. But if that wasn't Jane's purse, why was the woman so eager? And mind you, I think at this time Harry Phibbs had since passed away. I think he had by the time this reporter went down into the basement of this place. How come, you know what I mean? How come she was so quick and like panicky and wanting to get this person out of the house? Anyway, guys, I'm sorry, I'm going to have to go. All right, because yeah, I'm not feeling 100% today. I need to go and try and suss out something to eat. But until next time, guys, just keep an eye on your kids, keep an eye on your loved ones. Donate to me if you can. Thank you if you do. Check out my Amazon wish list if you do. Thank you. If you don't, that's fine. But I am going to go because I'm feeling like crap and I need to go and suss out or try and suss out something to eat. All right, guys, take care of yourselves. Be good. Remember to let the people you know you care that you care. Yes, it was a very short live today because, like I said, I'm just not feeling 100% still. And I really need just to suss out something that I can get and make it easy. All right, guys, take care of yourselves. I'll be back in a couple of days or a couple of weeks or a couple of months maybe. Who knows? I might even be back later tonight and do a... Oh, I'm trying to, Mac. Really, I'm trying. Yeah. So all of you take care of yourselves. Be good to the people you love. And let the people you know that... Let the people you appreciate know that you appreciate them. Because at the end of the day, tomorrow's never promised. So my best advice is treat the people that you care about. Treat the people you care about with respect. Don't treat them like you think because you have, say, like me, I'm completely fucking broke. So what I'm getting at with this, don't treat me like I'm lower than you because you have $5 to your name where I have nothing. You know what I mean? I don't want people to be like that when they're in my channel. I want people to treat the people with respect. Thank you. Just I found out the hard way how hard it is to live with. I found out that when my dad was alive, I had no time in the world for him. I had time for him, but when I would sit down and talk with him, as soon as I'd sit down and talk with him, I'd want to get away from him. Because in a lot of ways, I still had fear from my dad, from my childhood, being an angry asshole all the time. Even as a grown adult, I still feared him. Even when he was getting frail and old and unable to do much things for himself, I still feared him because he was my elder. But if I had my time again, there's no way in the world I would have spent more time loving him than fearing him. That's for sure. So anyway, I don't want to talk about that sort of stuff because it'll get me emotional. But all of you take care of yourselves. Be good. Treat people how you want to be treated. And like I said, just because you got $5 in the pocket doesn't mean you're better than the person who has nothing. Because at the end of the day, while I have nothing in my pocket, I've got room for dreams in that pocket. While you have money stuffed in there and people stuffing your pockets with money, what have you got? You've got dreams that you just have to go out and buy. Me, on the other hand, I have dreams that are much, much, much bigger than that. I have dreams that help me believe that dreaming is possible. So, yeah. On that note, I'm out of here, guys. Sorry for that little rant there. But like I said, just take care of yourselves. Be good to yourself. Be good to each other. Stay safe. Stay alert more than anything because there are a lot of fuckwits out there in the world, on YouTube, in the streets, wherever. Just stay alert at all costs. When you're going to be walking around at night, my advice to the women and even men, make sure you find a deodorant you don't like and carry it around with you. The cops can't get you if you can get in shit for, I think, for carrying around mace. But hey, if you have a can of deodorant you don't like, carry it around in your bag, carry it around in your pocket, wherever. And then when someone tries to grab you, just spray the fuck out of their eyes. I just wish there was a way you could still buy that spray on super glue. That'd be awesome, eh? But just make sure you're not spraying the wrong make sure you're spraying the right person and not the wrong person with that super glue shit. Anyway, guys, you all take care of yourself. Have a great day. Eat heaps. Do what you want to do. If you're in Australia and you're having a barbecue anywhere, please have a drink for me. All right, guys, I'm out of here. Take care. Bye. And thanks for listening. Bye.